Walter Latham. I'm your host, and I'm joined by your co-host, Michelle Sweeney McComb. And how are you today, Michelle?
I'm fine, thank you. How you doing, Walter? It's hot.
It's hot, but I tell you, I think it's getting hotter down in with these midterm elections coming.
Oh yeah,
And
getting
I
real
think it's
hot. They
going
already
to be a
started
hot.
early voting.
It's
Yeah.
going to be hot in February. I'm telling
Well,
you,
right. I mean, we
Uh,
had that. I think every couple of years it happens that way. Hmm.
but this time is different. I mean, this is unique in a sense, and I've been calling this out for a while. And the name of this episode is The Great Replacement Theory. And I named it that because you have a lot of white people, and this was cited by the guy that killed the people up in Buffalo and by another one of these white supremacists. This is one of their top, conspiracy theories that they're trying, everybody's trying to replace them. Okay.
Hmm.
They want to
Yeah.
be the majority. This is a white country. Ergo, they should be the
Right.
majority of this country. All right. But they see that majority fading away. What do they say?
Hmm.
By 2050, the whites will no longer be the majority of this country. It'll
That's
be the
right.
brown folks.
Might be less than that.
And I think really, and you don't have to be a Trumper, I don't think, to believe that this country should be a white country. I think that you got some middle of the road white folks that think that too.
Right. You sure do. Sure do.
They're
Not
quiet,
Trumpsters.
right?
Yeah.
They're quiet, but they voted for Trump.
A lot of
Yeah,
times.
especially with
They're
these
just
races
staying under
going
the
on now.
radar. Yeah, they're just staying under the radar.
Yeah,
Wow. Yeah, it's a lot going on in this country. And we could go back to, the Roe versus Wade with, abortion. All of that is all linked into it with wanting to not have their race non-existing. I don't know. If you
yeah,
go
but
back to
because I think
the real statistics of it, a lot of those girls, white girls, are having abortions and stuff because and those are undercover abortions. Those rich people, those college girls are doing it,
oh
but they're
yeah,
starting to see that, and you're forcing. It depends on the situation and the circumstances. They just had something where a young lady, they took her to another state because she was raped, 13 years old. I just feel like you shouldn't be able to tell people what to do with their lives, but that goes on to what you're saying at the beginning, that their race is gonna, like, what race is pure race now? You know? And I just don't like the fact that you say race. We're the human race. We're one race. But to categorize everyone by color, it's crazy because everybody's mixed. Everybody's mixed with something.
they didn't use that. They didn't use race prior to slavery. Race came about just prior to slavery, the introduction of slavery.
Wow.
You were
Wow.
either Arab or you're European. They didn't say black, white, race this,
Right.
race that.
Right.
And basically, it's a new categorization if you look at it from a historic perspective.
Really?
You were either from this tribe or not. Or you spoke this language or not.
Not by color. Not by color.
Right. All right. Y'all guys, if you're listening, fact check me. But I do want to go into a little bit of what this great replacement theory is and why should we care? Why should we care about it?
Right.
Okay. America is struggling with its reasoning and some responses to population replacement because that's the underlying issue. And I think I mentioned this many, many times that the underlying issue pre-Donald Trump was the fact that there's a main line that runs under this country that states that we own this country. This is a white country. It's an extension of the European continent of the Europeans. We are European. Okay? So the great replacement theory, a lot of different demographic issues. The population of America's population has become highly politicized. That's why you got Republicans, all of them marching to the same tune, whether deep inside they care about it or not. All right, it's division. That's it. Okay,
it's always been that way.
Right, and they promote this. So the great replacement theory is we are losing our country, a white country, and giving it up to non-whites. So maybe something in the back of their mind, and I say this in jest, but I think it's true in a lot of cases. Maybe they saying, "Damn, we're gonna be the next Native Americans to get wiped out over here."
Right. Yeah, it could happen. Right.
You know what I'm
That's
saying?
right. They wiped them out, so it's your turn now.
Yeah. They figure that's a process. It's a process.
Mm-hmm.
You come in, you lay roots, you grow, you start taking and building and buying land and getting jobs and this and that. Next
Exactly.
thing you know, your ass is out the door.
Your ass is out too.
That's right. They kill you
History
then.
repeats itself. Now it's your turn. That's the difference.
Right.
Wow.
And then also there's always been this thought, from white supremacists that there would be a race war. But what they did was they substituted race war or genocide with this, replacement theory,
Right.
this conspiracy. All right, it sounds a little bit more gentler, but I mean the underline is that when there is a war, civil war, which I do, in fact, believe there will be, because for other reasons. Number one, they're trying to take away our right to vote as minorities.
Yes.
So that it won't count. So then you have no voice.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So instead of saying, okay, we can't take them out that way, genocide.
Right.
That means you kill them all. And you know what I heard too, Michelle?
Yes.
They went,
yes.
and this is something that was posited by a guy. I think I may have heard on TikTok. The guy was talking about it. Believe it or not, I forgot his name. I can't give him credit, but he was saying, okay, suppose there was a civil war. Now the United States has 2.2 million men in the military.
Right.
They got about 450,000 men in their law offices, including the FBI, police, and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
But Trump's people, if you look at Trump's people, which is about, they say, like 30% or 20 to 30%. I'm guessing on that number, right?
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of these, they've been arming for years. They have semi-automatic, AK-47. They got bunkers. They got shelters. They got all this kind of stuff.
Right.
Even if you take 10% of them, you got 20 million people. Now, how can the U.S. Army, military, and cops protect us?
Right. They can't.
No, they can't.
They can't.
You're on your own.
Sure. You're on your
And
own.
that's not the count. The ones that the Trump people and the ones that are believers that are in the military. Yeah,
that's true,
yeah.
Walter. That is true.
And this guy, what is this guy's name? Lloyd. He's the head of the Joint Chiefs. He wanted to implement a purge, meaning try to get these white supremacists out of the military. They killed that.
Right. They sure did. So what do you think now is going to happen? I mean,
well, my hopes go out to the midterm elections, because you heard that Liz Cheney lost her primary.
Oh yes,
down in Arizona by a big margin,
right?
A landslide.
Yeah. Right.
She got kicked out. She lost to someone that Trump backed, someone named Harriet Hagman.
Oh, really?
Yeah, this is the Wyoming U.S. House primary.
Right.
Yeah, so.
Oh, wow.
Liz Cheney lost big too in her district.
Wow.
Okay, so right now you got senators. We got 100 senators, right? So we got 49 Democrats, 3 liberals, and 50 Republicans.
Okay. Wow.
And they're stopping everything.
Yeah, they are.
They're stopping everything.
Those are old Proud Boys. They think a certain way. The U.S. history, our government history, the mentality is still in the same position. I just feel like some of these people, they should have caps on, how long you can be in office. who could run for president. They don't have any caps. They don't have any rules and regulations. It's so much harder to get a job at McDonald's. It's so easy to become president. You know, they don't have any qualifications, no hard qualifications to become a president, and they just need a cap on it. Like these are old Proud Boys in the 80s and 90s still making decisions with that same mentality that they have when slavery was in effect. We didn't have civil rights at that time. They still think like that. So they should just have, to me, you shouldn't be in this position for the rest of your life. Like, I think that's ridiculous. Your thinking is different. Like, you don't, like, I don't understand. They don't
But
think.
then on the other side of the coin, Michelle, I didn't mean to cut you off, but on the
Yeah,
other
no
side of the
problem.
coin, these
Mm-hmm.
candidates that Trump
Mm-hmm.
is picking against
Mm-hmm.
the incumbents, these are not qualified folks, and they're winning.
No, right. So it
And
shows
and
you the
and
mentality of the people that are voting for him.
right, and the ones that he endorsed also
Mm-hmm.
support him in the fact that the election was a fake. It was a fraud.
Exactly. They definitely
That he
support him.
really, really won.
And
And that's what these people are running on.
mm-hmm. Right. Exactly. They're running with it. Now, come on. Numbers don't lie. He was just pissed off because he's a sore loser. This
That's
is
it.
not
That is the
this is
thing.
not
He
The
can't
Apprentice. It's
afford to
not The
lose.
Apprentice. He was running his country like he ran his damn show, The Apprentice.
Yeah.
He was not qualified to be someone in a high position like that. He's a narcissist. That's another thing. Being a narcissist, you're just and it's like a game to him. You know, just like what he does with his real estate and properties. It's like a game to him. He's chasing things, he conquers it, and then he goes on to the next. It's not something that he takes seriously. He's not a people person. So he can't, you know, think like we do, the average person, because all he knows is how to, get over, how to evade taxes, how to, evade these mortgages that I'm getting locked into. He knows how to get around things. So you can't have someone with that mindset running a country for us. He can't speak for us.
Yeah, but I think you're speaking in the past because the things that are happening to our country now is it's just amazing.
It's just like that. Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing.
It's
Amazing.
amazing.
So what do you think about now with him with this FBI stuff, and now they got Giuliani in court?
Oh yeah, looking at Giuliani, that Giuliani going down to Georgia, they made him go. He's talking about,
Yeah.
he's incapacitated. They said you got to go. You catch a train. They don't care. So they, so I think he was
Wow.
questioned today on the
Wow.
oath. All right, but then also don't forget they got another one where
Mm-hmm.
in our state attorney Letitia,
Mm-hmm. Yes.
all right, is suing them, for corporate malfeasance or corporate fraud, tax.
Right.
Well, actually
Right.
taxes.
Right.
I
Right.
know I see here that one Trump executive, one big guy, all
Mm-hmm.
right, pleaded guilty to 15 felonies in the tax scheme,
Really?
with the Trump
Wow.
organization being on the other side of the deals.
Mm. They didn't think that would catch up to them eventually, because they've been Giuliani and Trump has been close for years since the '70s. They go back with
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
disrupting and conning and scheming and all everything that they have done. They've always done it together. They backed each other, and to me, like Manchurian Candidate, they prep these people for certain things. You go through stages, like the Central Park Five. They were involved with
right,
that at the
right.
time. Giuliani was a prosecutor or whatever he was, and he was part of that. There was also an article, front page article with Trump on it, giving the award to convict them, give them the chair, $50,000. They had to convict someone, but that conviction led Giuliani to his next phase, right? So you got to convict somebody, whether they're innocent or not. So that's all political to me. Like everything has something to do with politics. It takes you to the next level. But that's the game they've always played. So, but now that you look at their history, they've been doing this shit for over 30, 40 years. And it's finally catching up to them. And I hope. It does. I hope it does, because they've hurt a lot of people in the process.
Yeah, yeah. They always say, what's dark now will eventually come to light, right? I think it's
Right.
something to that effect. I may not
Yes.
quoted
Yes,
that
that's exactly
properly,
what
but
the
something
quote
to that
is.
effect,
Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly
right?
correct.
And that's what's
Mm-hmm.
happening. That's what's happening with Trump. The thing is, I mean, they with this Mar-a-Lago,
Mm.
warrant, this search that you were mentioning.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, with these documents, that's another one, a totally different case because that had to do with the archives and the rules around the executive
Yeah.
branch.
Him.
Right.
Yes. Yes. Removing those documents and keeping
Why
them.
would he? Yeah,
Why would
why
you need
would
to
he?
do that? But I think that does not have to do with when they were investigating him and they were saying that he was controlling the FBI while he was in office and they wouldn't let certain things be released and he took them out of there so they wouldn't see. Like, this is worse than Nixon.
Oh,
This is worse
way,
than Nixon.
way past Nixon. He has
Yeah,
more strength
yeah.
than Nixon would
But at
because
least
with
they got
Nixon,
Nixon
the
ass.
public
Like, what
situation.
is the delay with this dude? Like, why is it not easy to get him? You have all the evidence you need. And they said it had something to do
Because
with the insurrection, no?
well, see that's what the House committee is working on. All
Mm,
right, that's been running up and running for what last 4 months or whatever.
right,
Being
right.
led by Liz Cheney. She's one of two Republicans.
Mm-hmm.
That's why she lost re-election. All
Yeah,
right,
because
she's
of
on
that.
that
Yeah,
committee. All right,
right.
so he called out Trump. He
Wow.
called him out. He has tremendous support, and people are shaking in their knees, in their boots,
He's the most famous people
rather
in the
than go
world.
against him. You
One
gotta,
of,
you gotta,
yeah.
yeah, you gotta respect people
Mm-hmm.
like this guy from I think it was from Arizona or wherever, Republican
Mm-hmm.
senator that voted for
Mm-hmm.
for Trump to be impeached. But he said
Right,
it when he said that. Right behind that, he said, "I'm not running for the next election," because he knew that his district didn't
right,
like him taking
right,
that position.
right. Exactly.
It's the people that vote for you. They are a reflection of the people that vote for them.
Definitely.
Okay, if you're not white and Christian, all right, and on our side and march to our tune, forget about it. I mean, you can be black and Christian. Look at the guy out of South
Yeah,
Carolina,
right, right.
right? Just totally. And then what was this guy, Herschel Walker? You heard about him running? He was endorsed by Trump. You got Herschel Walker. But let's get back to these documents uh, for this raid of Mar-a-Lago, Trump's house, and the stuff that they took. All right. First, they said that they asked the Trump people for it. These documents, they had to go to the archives, which is normal, it's a routine thing. All right. When you change presidents, they asked for it back in the spring,
Right.
and then they sent them a subpoena. And normally they wouldn't send a subpoena because the subpoena lays out what they're looking for, which gives you a chance to go and hide things.
Oh,
Okay.
okay. Okay. I didn't
All
know
right.
that.
That's why they want the warrant. All right.
Right,
Instead of,
right.
and they said, well, why you do the subpoena? Subpoena gives you lead time, the defendant lead
They
time or
didn't
the
give him
target
any
lead time.
time. The only thing he
All
knew
right.
was they were
And they know
coming.
he,
Yeah,
that's
they
what I'm
he knew they
saying.
were coming. That's
He knew that.
the lawyer forewarned him. That's why he left. So the lawyer was there, but he wasn't, because if he's there legally, they have to put him in. He has to be arrested during the raid. So
You
that's why
cuff
his
walk
ass
him.
left.
Yeah.
Right? They would cuff
Yeah.
him, and he's like, "You're not
I
gonna get
wish they
me.
would.
You're not gonna put those pictures of me out there. Like, somebody will take a photo of that one." But he knew he had to get out of there before they got there. So, mm.
Wasn't he wasn't with Letitia that day, was he?
I don't know.
Where he took the fifth.
He
They
took
took
he
the fifth.
pleaded the
I
yeah, he
mean,
did plead the
he took
fifth. Yeah, he did.
yeah, fifth all the way. Everything, and for like 4 hours or 6 hours or whatever time. It was a long time he was taking the fifth.
Yeah, Orange Man, your time is coming. It's really coming.
You
You
know?
better, and I do. Who do you think ratted him out though? Because they were saying something about one of his children.
Yeah, someone. That's why they don't want to turn over There's a document that the Trump people want. Is it the affidavit? I think it's the affidavit. And the affidavit lays out, who the potential person, what documents are there.
Oh, so that's why the son was saying something about a letter he
Right,
wrote that they wanted. It was
right.
just a letter he wrote to his father. But the daughter's like out of the picture. Like she doesn't want anything to do with this mess.
None of them
But
do. None of
whatever
them do
happened to
because this is
her
an old man.
investigation
Yeah.
when they were saying that she was using the campaign funds for something. Whatever happened to that? Like everything they mention it and then you don't hear anything else about it. Like
Well, you
whatever
got
happened
me
to them?
because Trump. I mean, I even told my wife. I said they're putting too much air in the balloon for Trump. They should just drop coverage and do everything.
Right.
Continue to do the work,
Like
but drop
Letitia is.
coverage.
Yeah, Letitia's not
Yeah.
out there broadcasting what they're doing. So, but the
No.
FBI is different. That was something you couldn't avoid.
The
You couldn't avoid
FBI was just
that. But
following orders. Now they got all these threats against the FBI. And Trump, what did he say? He wants the white supremacists and these people threatening the FBI. You bring the temperature down. He didn't say stop.
right, he's careful with his words because he doesn't want it to stop. That's why.
That's what
Like
I'm
he never
saying.
said
He's
any
playing
mass
it. He's
insurrection.
playing
He
it.
did
He's
not
playing it right down
say.
the middle.
Yeah, of course. He didn't. That's like he wouldn't give the call for them to stop at the insurrection. He never did it. He never made the phone call for extra security to come in. He knew it was happening. He wanted it to happen. Shit, Mike Pence was there. And then you don't impeach this guy knowing he tried to kill you all? These people could have killed them. They were
You know what I
going
heard
after
today?
them. Hmm.
I heard today along those same lines. The January 6th committee that I met earlier, that Liz Cheney was one of the leaders of.
Right.
Okay. Mike Pence wants to testify. He said he wouldn't decline an invitation to testify in front of the
I hope
January
he
6th
does.
committee.
He looked like he really didn't look like he wanted to be vice president anymore. He was just existing. I think that guy knew a lot of stuff. He did not agree with a lot of stuff that Trump was doing. That's why Trump knew he was there. Get him too. Get his ass too. Because he turned on me as well. Mike Pence was just there. I didn't even really think he had any real power. He didn't even step up to do anything. Well, he couldn't go against Trump.
Well, Mike Pence may be one of those ultra conservative Christians, but I think the man believed in the Bible, in the teachings.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't go against
Right.
it. I don't think. Now I can't. I have no way to be totally 100%. But Trump put the word out to hang him.
Mm-hmm.
When
Yeah, because
yeah,
he probably see, you're wrong. This is not right.
that's what I'm
And,
saying.
you never know what happened behind closed doors because I'm sure this guy had some humanity. Like, there's no way he could have agreed with everything Trump was doing.
No, but when it came down to overthrowing the election, that's democracy, and he wasn't going to be the one to
Yes,
do that.
he wasn't going to
It
be the
took a
one to
lot
do
of
that.
a lot of bravery on his side to do that.
Definitely, definitely, of course, and that's why they were taking him out too.
Yeah,
They actually remember they were in Pelosi's office. Their feet up. They
yeah.
had guns. What do you think these people were going to do with
They
these
had a
guns?
noose hanging outside for Mike Pence. They were looking for
But the
Mike Pence
thing
actively.
that annoyed me the most, if that was a black crowd, they would have never gotten anywhere near that place. They would have snipers on the roof taking people out.
They would have been a mile away from there. They couldn't have gotten within a
Exactly,
1 mile
exactly,
perimeter. No,
exactly.
but we
And
know that.
where was all the security at? It was planned.
Yeah,
Definitely.
but we know that, Michelle, because
Yeah.
we overturn. Look what we've been finding on this podcast when we're
Mm-hmm.
doing research for this podcast. Look at all the stuff that we've been finding that we didn't know about.
Well, look at the torment Obama had to go through. He wasn't a citizen. Come on. Like that was he kept running with that Trump. Kept running with it.
Yeah, yeah.
But you're not a full American either. You have Russian relatives. You look where your history comes from. But it was okay because he's white.
Yeah, but you know what is another killer that we didn't mention with Trump's ego was the fact that President Obama had 2 terms and he only had one.
Right. He his whole time in office was reversing everything Obama did. He really
Huh?
didn't accomplish a damn thing. Nothing. But he
You
wasn't
know,
going
he
to let
didn't, you know.
this Negro outdo him, basically.
And he did because the way it's saying he did. He had 2 terms.
Yeah.
And he
Right.
probably could have beat him a 3rd term.
Right. You will never be the man he was. Never. Never.
I don't know, but it's just so many. Trump. I really hate to talk about. I think I stopped talking about him.
Yeah, we did for a while.
After about a year ago, last summer. I didn't want to hear
Hmm.
anything about Trump. I know you didn't
Right.
either.
But he
But
doesn't go
it's just like
away.
he doesn't go away. It's just like when he got elected, and I was very, very upset. It's just. But I said to myself, okay, let me. He won, and let him do his time. You
Right.
know, but you couldn't ignore the guy. The guy was texting
He's
every
just
day.
there. He was like a
Just his
he you couldn't get
presence.
rid of. Yeah, his presence was
Yeah,
always there. Yeah.
just his
Like a
presence.
black cloud that never goes away. Yeah. He's
Right, it
just
started trouble.
yeah, just making sure I'm here,
The guy sent out the one thing that really ticked me off. Well, 2 things. When they sent out the stimulus check, his signature was on it.
Yes.
You know, coming out of his pocket.
Man, that's what I said.
you
Like what?
know,
It's supposed to
yeah.
come
Can you
from the
imagine?
treasury or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Because what the Social
It's,
Security checks has what? The US Treasury
I
or
think it's
something
the
on it?
Secretary of the Treasury, the current
Yeah, why
Secretary
is
of the
his name?
Treasury.
Like he's not give this is like him giving his personal
Yeah,
money.
it's it. He giving the money out.
I was like, nah, that's some
I was
bullshit.
mad. I mean,
Lyle
really.
never ever used that money. He always saved it because he's like, I don't trust this shit.
Well,
I
I
don't
know
trust it.
he snapshot that thing. Hopefully he put it in the
Of
bank,
course.
He snapshot.
Yeah, it was direct
It's,
deposited, but he
oh,
left it in his
okay. He
savings because he's
snapshot.
like, I don't trust it. This
Oh,
shit
yeah,
is
that's
gonna
right. It
come back.
was. It was. It was. Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the second thing was
Mm-hmm.
the emergency response system where they notify all the citizens on your cell phone. The test,
Mm-hmm.
you get a notification of a catastrophe or anything. They got a test. So I'm on a golf course and I'm playing with a couple of other people. They were Trumpers. I
Mm-hmm.
knew it, but I never said anything.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care. But it's from President Trump.
Mm-hmm.
All right, this is a test of our emergency response system. Blah 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 blah. Why is it coming
Mm-hmm.
from him
Right.
to my phone?
It's not out of your right. Wow.
Yeah, to my phone. And I heard the white guys, as like I said, I did predicate that with the fact that they were Trumpers, and I knew it doesn't. I
Mm-hmm.
don't care when it comes
Mm-hmm.
to golf. It's all right. All right. The white guy said, "Oh, I bet they're gonna complain about that now."
Mm-hmm.
I heard them. They weren't talking to me. I heard them, from a distance. Like, yeah, just because Trump's name up there, somebody gonna be complaining. I complained. Well, I didn't say anything
Yeah,
because
yeah.
otherwise I wouldn't been able to play all day because I've been too mad. So, yeah, I mean, they justify everything for him.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they do. Cover it up. Make, just pass it off, like it's nothing. But if I was a black person, I don't even think he would have got into office with having a wife with porno pictures and magazines. They would have never made it that far. And then you got lawsuits while you're running for office, for president. You have lawsuits, you're paying off these women. Like, that would have never happened with a Democrat. Never.
No, no, it would never happen
Unbelievable.
with a
But at the
Democrat.
end of the day, they didn't step up to the plate with Republicans. At the end of the day, look at all the clowns they had running for office against Obama. Look at all of the people that they had. I don't really think Trump. I think he just did that for an ego thing. I don't really think he expected to win. To be honest, I really don't. Cause I'm like, why is he running for what?
Oh, he's
It's a
running
child
again.
spam. Right
He's
now
running
he is
again.
because he's in the game. He won. He probably didn't think he would win. He'd be like, brush it off. It's something I want to conquer. I defeated it. That's that. But now he's angry because the second time you ran, you didn't win. You didn't
Right.
win. Now you're mad. You're pissed off
Yeah,
because you
and he
didn't
lost
get your
that. He
way,
lost
like
the
a
House and he lost
tantrum.
the Congress.
Right,
Right.
he did. Right, now he's pissed off, and the fact that, look, if you look at the whole picture, look at Epstein, the guy that got killed. He didn't kill himself in jail. They had too much on those Republicans, and I think that Trump knew of a lot about all of these these Republicans with their secrets. He has pictures with Epstein from the 70s with these young girls.
Yeah,
A lot
yeah,
of those
yeah.
Republicans, a lot of this shit is linked. So those
Oh, of
Republicans
course,
didn't want to
of
impeach
course.
him because if they didn't impeach him, all their shit was gonna come out. Because why on earth would you not impeach this man? They tried to kill you, and you
Mm.
had evidence of it. Evidence, recordings, video. He was on Twitter with it. His speech told them all to go over. Like, what more evidence did you need? And that's what I think, that he had a lot on them. He had a lot on those Republicans. And Epstein probably, you know, gave, a lot of these young girls, when they have those conventions and stuff like that, I'm sure there's a lot of evidence of a lot of those Republicans doing things they weren't supposed to be doing. And it caught up to them, and now you got to return that favor. Because how could you not impeach this man, knowing all of these things?
Well, the thing
How?
is that Trump, all he has to do is say, I didn't do it. And then that's it.
Right.
And you take
Right.
5 years to try to prove it.
Right.
And when it comes to stuff like that, Trump, remember, what was that Gambino, the crime family, the mafia guy? Used to walk down the street, the hair all cut nice and stuff. They used to call him Teflon Don.
Mm-hmm.
You remember him?
Yeah.
All right, how they
Yeah.
used to try him all the time, and they would fail. He would be innocent, and then he kept talking trash, and then they finally got him, and his ass died in prison. They finally got the
Wow.
Teflon Don.
Right.
Yep, yep,
Yep. They sure did. They sure did. And he died in jail.
he died in prison. They got him. And same thing but the thing is, if it doesn't happen quickly,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm just afraid of a civil war because they're voting to take away our rights to vote. What they want to do is, whichever way they want to do it, it's all about the majority that we have in this country when it comes to the right to vote. All right.
Mm-hmm.
That's why you see them messing around with the, what do you call those? The delegates
Mm-hmm.
appointed.
Yes.
Each state can appoint their own delegates, and they can say, well, we don't like the results of this. We think this is not good, so therefore, this person should win versus that person, based on our investigation. That's what they're doing now. They're putting that in place.
Right.
So
Yep.
you talking? I'm not talking like New York. I'm talking about
Right.
those 26 other states that are, either red states
Mm-hmm.
or
Mm-hmm.
purple states. They can can just cut out the vote, just throw it out and say,
Right.
it didn't look funny. This precinct, this voting precinct, their count was off, or the technology that they used, Dominion, was
Right.
not working properly, or these
Right.
votes were late.
Right.
There's a
Right.
discrepancy, so they make a decision.
Wow.
Right. So a president being elected, the president is anointed, and that's by the
Right.
Republican Party.
Yeah.
I
It's
don't
not.
know.
It's not. I don't know. But, it's going to be interesting the next couple of months, though. That's for sure. That's for
Well,
sure.
with the abortions and all these things that we've seen and observed, if Republicans, I expect them to win in the South, certain states.
Mm-hmm.
But you
Right.
see them winning in Pennsylvania and all these other,
Mm-hmm.
especially with the abortion.
Right, exactly. That's a big issue. That's a big issue because how do you reverse something? What else are they going to reverse?
Yeah,
I kind
what's
of feel
next?
like if you can reverse something that was 50 years old, and these white men, these white Republicans are telling you what to do with your body, right? Next is going to be civil rights. Next is going to be slavery. Like, I mean, how do you?
I thought about that too.
And why aren't these laws in place where you can't reverse them? Why is there opportunity to reverse them? Right? Why?
Well, I
Why
think
isn't there stipulations in there? This is fine. You can't. You can't edit this. You can't. It's a law. It'll never change. Like, why can't they do that? Why do you have these laws where you have an opportunity to change or enhance or make it what you feel like it should be?
well,
Why is
I
it
can
that?
speak to. I think I can speak to the gay rights Roe v. Wade,
Mm-hmm.
because Roe v. Wade was never a law per se. It was decided in the courts as being constitutional, and
Mm.
that's an interpretation of the Constitution.
Mm-hmm.
All right, it wasn't codified, meaning in Congress, voted on by Congress. It was never done. That was never done.
See,
Okay,
so I
all
give you
right. Someone
opportunity to
sued and
change.
said, "Well, yeah, I can't write." Okay, but when it comes to the right for same sex marriage, I got to go back and check to see where that falls under.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, whether was that a legal case, that was settled at the Supreme Court,
Right.
was it codified? Was it written? Or does it how some laws have to go to the states and be voted on by individuals in the state, just like
Right.
which was it, Kansas?
Mm-hmm.
Kansas, they put Roe v. Wade or abortion versus anti-abortion on the ballot, and abortion rights
Mm-hmm.
won. There was a landslide victory of the people voting
Mm-hmm.
to keep their
Mm-hmm.
right to abortion
Wow.
a couple of weeks ago,
Right.
and that scared Republicans.
So if it doesn't come from the highest court, it can always be amended.
Right, because the highest court only makes a decision, and then they use the Constitution to help them come to some type of conclusion as
Right.
to the right or wrong of a particular issue, per se.
Mm-hmm. Right. Right.
All right, that's why
Yeah. I mean,
Donald Trump. That's why we want all these corner court. They got all these conservatives on the court.
yes.
We got you got a liberal issue going up before them.
Right. Right.
Yeah, it can go the opposite direction.
Crazy. That
Yeah,
means you got to look at all the other laws that they have in place that can be amended. That if they even think about it, trying to amend something, it could happen. Just like this. Just like this.
yeah, that's something
Wow.
that we want to dwell down on too.
Mm-hmm.
What constitutes a law and what constitutes precedence,
Right.
because the Supreme Court is setting precedents. Roe v. Wade was a precedence. It was not a
Mm-hmm.
law.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it was a decision
Wow.
that was made by the courts, 50 years ago, whatever.
Right.
So it wasn't a law. So precedents can be basically, overturned or whatever, not overturned, but a new precedence can be set
Right.
based on
Right.
interpretation of the current judges in there.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah. I
normally
mean,
they would say, well, this is precedence. Precedent
uh-huh.
was set 50 years ago. So why are we, overturning
Right.
Roe v.
Right.
Wade
Right.
at this time? But you had conservative judges in there.
Yeah. Exactly. That's why.
Yeah,
That's why.
absolutely.
People that still think the same from 50 years ago
Absolutely.
and was
Absolutely.
mad that it was passed. You had a lot of women rights organizations back then as well when they had set those laws. So they pushed it, they got it, but it was temporary, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
The temporary fix to shut you up because they know down the line they're gonna change it again. So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
And
sometimes
but
back then they just take something, like civil rights. They give you an inch, that's it. They'll just give you a little bit, and because they know, yeah, let's just satisfy them for now, shut them up. But later on, we're gonna change it. So
oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
regardless if those people are still around, and they are still around, because look at some of them same people that helped make that law 50 years ago are still here. So, and they could reverse it. Obviously, that's something that people need to be aware of, that things can change. They have
Well,
more
they're going to have
rights
a
than.
fight on their hands if the Republicans take control. The first
Hmm.
thing the
Yeah.
Republicans got in their mind is they're going to start reversing things.
Oh
They're going to
yeah.
start challenging everything.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, look at the what Trump said. He was, at least one thing I can say. At least he was forward with his shit. He didn't hide his shit. He was like, "Make America great again." And what does that mean? The forefathers. What does that mean?
Yeah,
Think about it. If you know your history, they want to go back to slavery, keep us in our place, because when that was over, what did you go into? The Civil Rights Acts, right? Well, slavery was over, you went into lynching. We didn't have any rights, right? They just threw us out. They gave you your freedom, threw you out there with nothing. They didn't give you your 40 acres and your mill, nothing. You had nothing to go on unless your slave master gave you that land that you were born on, and you worked on, unless they gave you that in your family. But what did we have as soon as slavery was over? We had nothing, right? And
that's
then they were
right.
out there they were killing us, hanging us, lynching us. Then they started, the civil rights movement. Things happened back in the 40s, but those weren't recognized until, Rosa Parks. But there was somebody before Rosa Parks, but it wasn't the right
Emmett
time.
Till, Emmett Till was
Right. No, I mean there was
basically
another woman
targeted.
on the bus that didn't get off the bus before Rosa
Okay,
Parks, but they didn't feel like she was a darker woman, and we discriminated against each other too. They didn't want to take that case, but when it happened to Rosa Parks, because Rosa Parks looked mixed, right? She didn't look. She wasn't like a full black woman. She didn't look
yeah,
African
yeah,
American,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
they took her on because she was also educated, right? She was a school teacher. I think her husband was a lawyer or something like that, and they were connected to the civil rights movement. So things, wasn't the right time. Certain things had to have a time frame in order. It wasn't the right time. Martin Luther King was born before his time. Just things like that. So just to say that everything has its time and place, right? They'll give you an inch, they'll give you a little bit. Even when Martin signed had who was it um Johnson, when he signed the civil rights law and stuff like that. They said he couldn't stand Martin Luther King. They have that, that
No, you had all the
historical
pressure
photo.
coming from right,
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 right. But they
right,
had that historical photo of them with him signing for the civil rights thing. He didn't want to do it. He didn't want to do it. But the pressure of it, he had no
right.
choice, because this is not right. This is not human. This is not
Yeah, the
humane to
Vietnam
treat these
War
people.
also added
Right, the
pressure. Yes,
Vietnam.
yes.
Right, it added a lot to it when they went. And that's why Kennedy was killed. It was a lot. It has a lot to do with it. He didn't want to. No, saying no to the mob. Then you had Castro in that era too. This man wants civil rights. He wants equal rights. No, we're not ready for that. You got to go. Just like Martin Luther King, you got to go. We're not ready for these things. So everything is always politics, unfortunately.
You know, that reminds me of what we used to say when we had the panel, the shows that some of the earlier shows, and we would say, what's the solution to, the Black American problem?
Hmm.
And we always concluded that it was a lack of a leader.
Yes.
Okay. Trump
Hmm.
is a leader.
Yes.
So he was able to galvanize all these different groups, from the
Hmm.
Proud Boys to this to
Yes.
that, all these white supremacist groups, and roll them into one. And then all the the, the people that were not part of these groups, but yet are espoused to the beliefs of these white
Right.
supremacists, put them
Right.
all in
Right.
one. So they have a leader.
Right.
All of our leaders got killed. Martin Luther
They
King,
got
Malcolm
killed,
X,
and there was a lot of
etc.
conspiracy. Yeah, also within our race as well. With Trump being a leader, he had a lot of
That's
followers,
that's what I'm
and they were
saying.
all
They got a
and they were
leader.
organized. They were organized. In our community, you always had somebody in the background. Yeah, I'm for Martin Luther King, but in the meantime, conspiracy. Like you're trying to, I'll say in the Black Panthers, for instance, right?
Yep, they were
There were a
leaders.
lot of people that were in that, but they also had their moles that was planted by the
Well, they were
FBI.
planted by the
You know,
FBI,
yes, that's what I
right?
said, by the FBI.
That's what
Same
they
thing with
do.
Martin. Same thing with Malcolm X,
Malcolm,
Marcus
they had them
Garvey.
all.
Oh, they had their moles, right? That's just
But,
like when they did the insurrection, right? How many blacks did you see there that they planted?
well,
Two or three.
that's the
Two or
thing. They
three,
could be.
right?
They mostly they try to plant with the white. They need to
Right.
blend in. Just like
You
with the
got to blend those
KKK, at
spots. You
one
have to
time
have
they
those
were
spots in there.
supposedly
Yeah, yeah,
you have to have to get your intelligence. You have to have someone that looks like them
of
in there.
course,
All
of
right.
course. That's just like,
So
the marches that we have with Black Lives Matter. They have moles in them that they
yeah,
plant.
yeah.
They put them out there, and then they were saying, oh, they're violent. And then when they started doing their research and their videos and stuff that people don't want to believe, it's those white people throwing those bricks and starting it up.
Well, that's
Those are the
what they're
moles.
saying about the January 6th resurrection, like you said,
Yes,
is that they're blaming the FBI for the moles doing
yeah.
all the dirty stuff.
That was a lot of moles.
And that they reversed it. See how tricky they are. They
Yeah.
reversed it.
There was a lot of moles though. Like it can't be all of those people were doing stuff. They were all
You know.
moles then.
So
That was a lot. That was a lot.
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I
Yeah.
think that the audience realizes this, but if you don't, we'd like to bring these things up to you to
Right.
your attention,
Definitely.
so that you could say and just think on it a little bit. See how you feel about it.
Right.
You
Right.
know.
Make your own
Uh,
assumptions. Look at the evidence. Look at
yeah,
the videos. Look at
yeah. We get out
just use
and
your own assumption. Yeah.
based on what you see out there, not from one source. There's never go to one source for anything. I try not to. I try to look at multiple
Right.
sources for things that I do. I can't tell you how you
Right.
do your thing. You can use TikTok.
Right.
You know,
Right. Right.
and that's not to say that TikTok is full of nonsense. And there's some true stuff that hits TikTok.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And
It does. It does. It definitely
yeah,
does.
it gives people a platform. You know what I mean? So you can see things from
Mm-hmm.
a different perspective. But
Mm-hmm.
I would write. We had a major donor that I did not give props to.
Yes.
Her name is Sakina Parnham, and she's out of Long Island. And
Awesome.
she gave to the Walt Weekly in response to our email blast. And now let me just clarify the email blast, folks, that we sent out rather a few months ago, right, Michelle?
Yes.
All right. And I know a lot of people, when they get these, they go right into your spam,
Yes.
and you think it's, but, if we're going to send out another one, and, it's up to you whether you decide. But we're going to have, different tiers. You can give $2 a month. You can give $2 at one time. You can give $1. You know, so you will be seeing another one. It's not a scam. We've been doing this show, Michelle and I, for this is the fourth year. We're in our fourth
Yeah.
season,
Yes. Yes.
as we shared with y'all guys last week. And, you know, we just love trying to get the information out there. Even if we don't get a dime from you, we're going to still try to run this show. Maybe not as sophisticated as other podcasts that you listen to,
Right.
but,
Yes, it will help us
you know,
with our growth as well. With the
right.
new technology, you can have monthly subscriptions. You can make a one-time
Yeah.
donation, put it
Yeah.
towards the Walt Weekly, and your donations will be also recognized on our show, in our show notes, and on our website as well.
Yeah. And I forgot about Mark Latham, my son. He made a sizable donation. Of course, he's my son,
Yes,
but he didn't make it because he had to. He
he
doesn't. He
wanted
has
to.
this. He doesn't live here. He's not going to get. He's not in a situation where he's not going to get dinner if he doesn't pay.
Right,
Give me $2. You know what I mean?
right.
But Latham, Mark Latham,
Latham
who's the
Photography.
CEO of Latham Photography,
Yes,
and he's doing pretty good out there. So I want to thank him. I want to thank Dina Ramsey.
yes,
She's pretty big in Virginia and Eastern North Carolina
yes.
with her daycare and mental institutions. And who else? They gave a big. So we have a lot. I mean, I don't want to sit here and just list people, but I do want to acknowledge them.
Yes,
All right, and we
and we
had.
appreciate them.
Yeah, we appreciate them. Just let them know that we do appreciate you. We appreciate y'all guys subscribing. Uh, and we were on vacation. We did take a break after 3 years of constant weekly recordings. So we're back now, and we're going to get back on point.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah. We want a September break,
Revamping.
but
Yes.
yeah, we needed a break, and so we can come back with a new, set of eyes and fresh mind and things like that.
Right. And ideas and topics, definitely.
We got plenty of topics. We got so much damn trouble, and we just hate being the bearer of bad news. But everything is not good right now.
Right. Everything is not good, but there's some good in some of it, and we will be sharing that as well.
Michelle will be sharing the good.
Yes.
I say that I'm just teasing Michelle because every time we go try to look at, we're having a production meeting, we're saying, okay, so what we're going to do this week and these topics and everything is bad, check.
Yes.
And we're looking for some good. Actually, we try to hunt for the good sometimes.
Right.
But with Michelle's guidance, we will find some good. And we will be reporting to y'all guys some good.
Yes. We love feedback, so we appreciate our audience that's tune in and sharing the podcast. We're looking forward to a lot more shows and putting out a lot more content, definitely.
Yes, and trying to get up there. We're the big boys, and not quite, but we in the right direction. We're headed in the right direction with the right type of technology. You will be seeing a lot more of us visually. That is the key. Visually, whether it be TikTok, Reels, and YouTube, especially YouTube.
Right.
Okay, along with our guests. And guests will be coming back. You got anything else you want to close it out, Michelle?
No, I'm good now. We've covered everything. Sponsorship, new shows coming up. I think we're looking forward to September, going off with a blast, coming in with a blast in September. Looking forward to having, some special guests on the show and talking about some important things and the issues in the community as well. So thank you all. You can find us at www.thewaltweekly.com, Instagram and Facebook at The Walt Weekly, Twitter, Walt Weekly, and on all streaming platforms. You can find us on iHeartRadio, iTunes, Spotify, wherever you get your local podcast.
Thank you, Michelle. All right. So we'll see y'all guys next time. Have a good one.
See you next time. Thank you.
All righty.